Coming to you straight from the Rio Grande and beyond. Broadcasting to the four corners of the globe. So grab your seat, your coffee, or your sundowner.
Okay, everybody, here we go.
On point, as always. This is Gloves Off. Gloves Off.
So when I was working on Selena, the series for Netflix, to play the role of Abraham Quintanilla, I put on a specific amount of weight, which I was fine doing, but also realizing it could be difficult to get that weight off. I got back into my physical regimen with James Leha, but I was still having trouble with just those last amounts. And that's when I got to meet Arturo from Laredo Medical Weight Loss Clinic. And just the products that he gave me kind of put me over the edge. I feel great about myself.
Back at you and Gloves Off, and today we're going to touch base on this great holiday, because this is Saturday of Labor Day weekend here in September 2024, and a lot of things have occurred. You know, we have to remember about jobs, and wishing everybody a great holiday. Relax with your family, hug your loved ones, give your kids, give a hug to your parents, and vice versa. We need more unity amongst people, and sometimes we can't do that with everything that's going on in the country right now. There's a lot of worries about jobs, security. Am I going to be able to pay the grocery bill? Am I going to be able to pay the electric bill? Am I living paycheck to paycheck? Do I have a stable job? Did I study a good trade or vocation or profession when I went to school for me to find a good job, especially here in Laredo? We're going to touch base on the economic developments and the trends that Laredo has had. Okay? Every year I kind of do a study on issues that are occurring, and last year, of course, we did the school to prison pipeline. Then we got some solutions. We got moving to kind of stop what had already occurred in some of these school districts, correct? But here comes Laredo. Laredo as a whole, the city of Laredo. We're talking about not the county, we're talking about the municipality of Laredo. Where's it going? Where was it? What's happening? What are the pros, cons? Because we always hear we're the number one land port, or the number one port in the nation. That's awesome. The trade industry, you guys are doing tremendous. Continue doing that. That's number one. Being number one in something, regardless what it is, it's a feat. Okay? But depends on what it is. It can also be the number one for murders, and that's a different story, right? But here we're the number one port, whether land or sea. That's what the readings are saying. But what are our rankings and other things? Okay? So I did a study on Laredo, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it and where it's heading, where we're coming from, what we're looking into. That little study opens the eyes of how you can invest. Should we invest? Should we move out if I'm a young entrepreneur? Is the city small business friendly? Is the city municipality? That's what I'm talking about. I hope you all do not misconstrue when I talk about Laredo, the people. The people are great people. They're resilient people. They're strong people. They're kind and friendly. They're individuals that will take their shirt off their back and give it to you. They're beautiful people. That's where we moved back. I'm from Laredo, right? Let's talk a little bit about some other things that are going on. And I make notes on my phone for me to be able to touch base a little bit. Let's touch base on employment sectors. It's underrepresented sectors. Laredo has fewer jobs in management, business, finance, tech, engineering, social sciences, healthcare practitioners. legal, arts, and construction compared to the U.S. average. We'll get into those studies. Overrepresented sectors here in Laredo. It has more jobs in education, healthcare support, protective services, food preparation, means there's a lot of little restaurants, sales, office support, and transportation compared to the U.S. average. Let's go into the next one, job growth and wages. The rankings fluctuate. Laredo's overall job growth ranking has fluctuated, being 155th in 2024. From last year, 2023 was 173, so we've gained a little bit. And then 170 in 2022. However, it ranked 64 for job growth from 2017 to 2022, and 40th from 2021 to 2022. Those numbers haven't come out yet. Now, wage growth. Laredo ranks 91st in wage growth in the United States from 2017 to 2022, and 102nd from 2021 to 2022. That's pretty bad, okay? Now, poverty in the U.S., high poverty rate. Laredo ranks 10th in poverty, highlighting significant economic challenges in the city. Imagine that, 10th of all the cities in the United States. Now, education. They compared Laredo to San Antonio, because that's the nearest municipality, really. Okay, and its spending and graduation rates. Laredo spends 7.5% less per student than San Antonio, and has a lower student-teacher ratio. However, 16.3% fewer Laredo residents have graduated from high school compared to San Antonio. It's pretty bad. Okay? But that also goes with the issues with the school-to-prison pipeline district that we have here in one of our school districts, right? And we have to address that because a lot of these kids are not graduating high school and they're already headed into our penal system. And we have to get them, and maybe we have to start growing a little bit more GED programs, more vocational schools. But we'll talk about that later on. This is not to make fun of Laredo. This is for all of us to kind of think and try to think about solutions. And when you have a solution, call your city councilman or person that you have in your district and tell them, this is what I think it is. That's what a city councilman or woman is there for them to represent the residents of their district, small businesses, what's going on. Sometimes you call the city for some issue, and they never get to it. They'll send you and then you talk to the supervisor, you complain about the person who came out or what have you, or they took 2-3 months, you make a complaint. By the time you know about it, you're already in an angry mode. And that right there harms the future, because then they tell you, oh, that person's just a disgruntled individual. Talk to your city council person. Tell them exactly what's going on. Send them an email. Document it, okay? That's what they're there for. Now, crime. The crime rate trends here in Laredo. The crime rate in Laredo in 2022 was 1.6 times lower than the U.S. average, which is great. We do have a good police department. We have a couple of bad actors, but we have a good police department. And compared to 2021. However, Laredo ranks poorly in several crime categories, including arson, which is 27th, motor vehicle theft, which is 98, and aggravated assault, which is 79, of course. And manufacturing jobs. Here's the one. Manufacturing jobs is 0.8%. In other words, we don't have any. Okay? And that's where we're lacking. We don't have a workforce for manufacturing. San Antonio, the Valley, everybody else are beating us to that. Why? Because previous city council administrations of the city and this current administration, all they care about is the international trade. Could care less about any other business that's around. That's my opinion. And if you all want to come out and discuss it, we can. Now, water issues. Right now we're in water restrictions. Laredo is under stage 3 water restriction due to extreme heat and drought, with strict limits on water usage. Non-compliance can result in fines, and the mayor is considering an emergency declaration if the situation worsens. We'll talk about that. But also, in the past, we've always had to boil our water and so on and so forth. So our water issues have been an issue, not with this administration, with previous administrations as well. Cost of living. Affordable living. Laredo has a lower cost of living compared to Texas in the national average, and cheaper housing, food, transportation, and child care costs. However, median household income is also way lower. Okay? Huge problem here. Human trafficking. That's a growing concern. Okay? Human trafficking is a growing issue in Laredo, with local law enforcement and federal agencies working together to combat this problem. Laredo is taking a proactive measures to address this concern. We'll talk about it in a little bit. And what's happening with human trafficking is these cartels, which are bringing in, they're illegally bringing in human trafficking, right? The cartels that are coming in. They have people here that offer our youngsters, our young adults, our teenagers, money to take a couple of illegals over the checkpoint. Some of them get caught, some of them don't. But guess what happens? Usually they get thrown out. Okay? So we do have a huge problem. We're also going to go in and this study, if you guys want it, we'll talk a little bit about it. If you guys want this study, send me an email to buitronacademy2012@gmail.com. It's going to be in the description on our YouTube channel, and I'll send it to you in a PDF, okay, for you to learn a little bit about it, see what else we can look, what solutions we can grasp, what we can move forward. Now, let's look at other rankings. Laredo is number 155 in 2024 for best performing city. Okay? Laredo is number 64 in job growth. Laredo is number 40 in job growth from 2021 to 2022. So 64 in job growth from 2017 to 2022. It went, so we got a little bit better. We probably lost also businesses because of the pandemic, right? Laredo is number 91 in wages from 2017 to 2022. Laredo is number 102 in wages growth from 2021 to 2022. Okay? Laredo is number 135 in short-term job growth. Imagine that. Let me look at something here. Bear with me. We're going to jump a little bit to crime, okay? Because we talked a little bit about the police. Listen, folks, we need to protect our police officers, our good badges we need to protect. And I'm for backing the blue, but I'm also for having some type of citizen review board to get the bad apples, the bad actors out of the police or law enforcement altogether. Because what happens here in Laredo is you have a bad apple in the police department, they'll resign, and the sheriff will pick them up. He does something wrong at the sheriff's office, all of a sudden he resigns and the constable picks him up, and on down the line. And he does this for his entire career. Okay? Now, so In 2022, the crime rate in Laredo is 153, which is 1.6 times smaller than the U.S. average. It was higher than 65% of the U.S. cities in 2022. Crime rate rose by 0% compared to 2021. The number of homicides stood at 12 and decreased from 2021. In the last 5 years, Laredo has seen decreasing violent crime and decline in poverty crime. So Laredo's doing pretty good. But again, I do not think of it as it's done because of a protection of the law enforcement. I think more of it is because people are not really doing much here because the crime is going elsewhere. Okay? But here's something that gets me. And I've been in this business of teaching people how to defend themselves for a very long time. And I've taught them not only here in Laredo, I've taught them in Dallas, in Brazil, in other parts of the world, in France, how to defend themselves against individuals that are going to do something violent towards them, correct? In most of my cases that I have, when people come in to train or people call for information, or parents concerned about their kids being bullied at school, all right? And the other concern is women being stalked, followed, harassed, sexually assaulted, and what they do about it. Okay, we have that. That's a trend that goes around here in Laredo. You have a lot of individuals that need to understand that you do not hit women. Okay, but it's very hard in a different subject matter training women that, and because most women, when you train them, they're more likely going to face somebody that they know that's trying to overpower them, try to do some harm towards them. Might be a family member, might be a co-worker. So they're faced with that psychological dilemma of, do I strike back, do I defend, what do I do? So we have a lot of problems of that type here in Laredo, especially stalking and harassing. And when you kind of guide them, and we've had workshops, we had seminars, we brought in the district attorney, which was great. We brought in other judges that have come and talked about this situation. And it's usually a paper trail. And when you start telling them to go to the police department and telling them this is going on, all of a sudden the case gets dropped, the case gets thrown away. It's no longer, the investigators don't call back. So there is a problem there with those type of crimes. They're being laxed. Now here's something here that goes into that. According to our research of Texas and other state listings, there are 273 registered sex offenders living in Laredo, Texas, as of August 28, 2024. The ratio of all residents to sex offenders in Laredo, Texas is 953 to 1. The ratio of registered sex offenders to all residents in the city is lower than the state average. Okay? But still, those are the ones that got caught. You should multiply it by 2, and you should probably get that number more likely that are out there. Now, the water issue, which is a huge concern here. I'm going to read some of this, what the research says, water issues. The South Texas border city of Laredo is implementing surcharges to homes, businesses that use excess water as the city is in stage 3 water restrictions due to 100-degree heat, drought, and the lack of water payments from Mexico. Listen to that. Lack of water payments from Mexico. Under stage 3 of the city's drought contingency plan, Laredo residents are only allowed to water their yards once a week before 8 a.m. and after 8 p.m., which is good, right? Depending on your address, your one day a week will either be Wednesday or Saturday. If your address ends in an even number, you will water on Wednesday. If it ends on an odd number, you will water on Saturday. You have to be cognizant to not leave your sprinklers for irrigating lawns. Most of the water is being used for irrigation of lawns, said Dr. Trevino, which is our mayor. Furthermore, residents will be prohibited from filling their pools and washing their vehicles on non-designated days and hours. However, there will be fewer exceptions for a public car washes, which half of their water is recycled, public splash pads, and city pools. Those who will not follow the city's irrigation schedule could be fined. Mayor Trevino said that he's continuing to monitor the situation and is considering including an emergency declaration if stage 3 measures are ineffective. Folks, water's precious. We've had practically about the same people on the same committee for secondary water source, probably for the last 15 years, okay? And those majority of people have yet to come out with a solution. They keep talking, and they still haven't. It amazes me that you have a municipality that's opening up just north of us on IH-35, and they already have water. It amazes me how when people want to solve a problem, they find solutions. Here the problem has been over and over the same thing, study after study. We're paying for another study, we're paying for another study, and guess what happens? Nothing gets done. We need solutions now. And how does that come to age with elections coming up? You all should be questioning those that are running. You have 4 positions of city council coming up. You have some good candidates running in. Ask each one of them what their solutions are, not what their problems are, not what their likes are, not to see if they want to paint butterflies on telephone poles and water drains, not to see if they want to build another park, not to see if, what are we going to do, because remember, parks have grass, you have to water them, correct? Now, we have to understand what we're doing and who we're getting, because the way we're going, we're spiraling down, we're not going up, okay? Now, this also talks about health issues, the sicknesses of sexual transmitted diseases that we have. Okay, you all can get this on where we stand as a city. Here's something that I want to read. Here it is. How about healthcare? The overall rank of Laredo is number 18. Laredo ranks 92 in healthcare and in facilities. Now, what does it say? Wise of overall rank of Laredo is number 18. That's from the Veterans Bureau, okay? And the link's right here. You can look it up. That's how our veteran services. It's rated 18 because they have some good healthcare, right? But in overall, it ranks 92. Why overall? Because that's not the veterans clinic. That's overall. Okay, that's all the doctors and hospitals and so on. So it's number 92, which is not that good. Where are we? Let's go back to human trafficking, because that is something that we have a problem with, and that problem is growing dramatically. Okay. We also have an open border situation, which our leadership, the vast majority of them, seem to say that it's not here. They seem to say that it's not happening. But yet we're the number 1 port. Okay. That means that both legal and illegal commodities are going back and forth. Okay. We have to understand that it happens. So when we are diffused or try to block that, it's not a narrative, it's something that's factual, that we have a problem, especially with fentanyl. We have huge amounts of fentanyl crossing over. Yeah, they're being crossed over from Mexico, that's our neighbor, but they're being sent from China, right? But what happens? when you kind of block that out and say, oh, we have no problems going on from Mexico, those are not issues. Really? We need more security. Period. That problem has been going on since 1910, the crossing of human trafficking and so on and so forth. Before, they used to have Comancheros, and we had Texas Rangers that used to go over to Mexico, shoot them and kill them and bring back the women. That happened a lot. We had ranchers that used to do that. Okay? Anyway, that's a different thing. So, human trafficking. Laredo, Texas. Human trafficking is a growing concern for law enforcement now that the Department of Homeland Security is working to help educate the public and police on the dangers of human trafficking. The city of Laredo is also doing its part, ensuring the police department is ready to handle these types of cases. At Tuesday's city council meeting, Councilman Ruben Gutierrez Jr. is requesting a plan aimed at stopping human trafficking in the border city. Gutierrez says that LPD will be working with the federal agencies to try to stop this problem as well as other criminal activity. According to Human Trafficking Courts organization, Texas has seen over more than 180 human traffic arrests in the last 3 years. Those are arrests. Okay? Now, Councilman Gutierrez is great. He's trying to find a solution for a problem. Hey, grade A on that one. But we do have that, okay? And like I said, they're using our youth to smuggle them across, okay? Now, let's go into housing here in Laredo, Texas. A lot of people out there that are just jumping on board. I'm going to touch base on some of the issues that Laredo has, trends and going up or down, right? But little history on Laredo. Laredo is a city in Webb County, Texas, with a population of 257,575. The total cost of housing, food, childcare, transportation, healthcare, taxes, I'm not talking about ad valorem taxes, I'm talking about just regular sales taxes, and other necessities for a single adult in Laredo is approximately $29,793 a year, less than the annual cost of living for Texas of $34,448, and less than the national figure, which is $38,433. Now, using the cost of living data from a nonprofit think tank, Economic Policy Institute, 24/7 Wall Street, estimate the cost of living in Laredo and over 29,000 other cities and towns in the United States. Okay? Housing costs in Laredo, Texas. Housing is one of the largest components of cost of living in Laredo. The median home value is $122,900, less than the national median, which is about $204,900. The median price of a home built in 1939 or earlier was $79,000, while the median home value of a home built in 2014 or later was $205,100. Renting is sometimes lower cost alternative to home ownership in Laredo. Some 38% of occupied homes are rented, about the same as 36.2%, which is the national renter rate. The typical renter in Laredo spends between $826 a month on housing and about the same as $1,023 national median monthly rent. In addition to home value, one of the largest determinants of housing affordability in the area is income. While nationwide, the price of a typical home is 3.4 times the $60,293 U.S. median household income, housing affordability ratios range from approximately 1 point to at least expensive cities to more than 10 points in the country's most expensive markets. In Laredo, the median household income is $43,351, which is 2.8 times the median home value. Okay? So, do we need better jobs? Of course we do. And we can go on to transportation costs, health care costs, child care costs in Laredo, Texas. We can go on and on and on. This is a great research which they made. And like I said, if you all want it, send me an email at buitronacademy2012@gmail.com, and I'll send you the PDF for you to study it and see what kind of solutions you all can bring about, because it takes all of us to change our community. It's not one city council person, it's not the mayor, it's the city saying, you know what, we need change. And right now we need change, because if we're changing in a different direction, we're going to lose the beautiful city and the beautiful people that we have here. And in the future, our kids are going to move out, they're going to look elsewhere. Listen, I tell this to people right now. If you're a young entrepreneur and you want a business-friendly city, McAllen is one, San Antonio is one, Austin, Dallas. Those are cities that will help you, and they'll be lower to start up, because there's a lot of issues with Laredo right now, especially once you start renting a space and you have to go in front and get city utilities. It's going to take them at least 3 weeks to get an electrical inspector in there to give you a temporary. You have to build the inside. And some of those, believe me, are not good people. They're not nice people to talk with. It's pretty bad. So we do have faulty departments which we have to fix. And we need, in this election, we need good, solid individuals that care about the growth moving forward. Okay, we'll leave you with that. Again, once more, if you want this, go to the YouTube description, and it'll tell you exactly where to get it. It has my email and everything else. And we'll leave you with this. You all continue having a great weekend. It's September 2024. We're less than 60 days away from, exactly 60 days away from voting. Early voting will be in October. Vote wisely, research each candidate. And this little book is what I'm going to tell each candidate that comes in here, what are their solutions. So next time, much peace. Have you ever wondered about what happens in a martial arts studio? Well, you start right away by setting goals, building determination, gaining focus, building skills, all while becoming more fit, gaining confidence, and learning self-defense. Buitron Academy is a school where attitude meets aptitude. So give us a call at 956-401-4868.